been a bad boy since way back.
So the time check is 11:01 a.m. and my name is Clinton. You are listening to 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. Good morning and welcome to the July edition of Disclose the Deal campaign on radio. As I've already said, my name is Clinton and we have this morning with us two extinguished guest speakers. All right, and we're going to introduce and hear from them right now. We'll start by introducing Barrister Kingsley Anidiobu, who is a legal practitioner and human rights defender. He is also the state coordinator, Publish What You Pay, Enugu State. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm fine.
All right. We also have in the studio Comrade Emmanuel Acha, who is a development expert and human rights activist. And he is also the executive director of AFA Africa and coordinator of Southeast Social Accountability Network, CISAN, and also a member of Publish What You Pay. Good morning to you, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Mr. Clinton.
Yes, it's good to have you, comrade.
Thank you.
All right. And our focus this morning is contract disclosure. For the benefit of those who might be listening, this might sound really foreign to them, and they might be wondering, what is contract disclosure? Okay, Barrister, let's start from you.
As a contract disclosure is contract when two parties have entered into contract.
Okay.
And the terms,
okay,
just in a simple language, is brought to the notice of each other.
Okay.
Look at the terms of engagement, how we are going to do this contract, and the contract is made known to each party.
Okay.
And the parties are aware of the rules.
As well as any risks that might be involved.
Yes.
Okay.
Once that information is given out,
okay,
so every person will know the limits
to where they can go to,
where you can go in and where you can stop.
Okay.
That is contract disclosure.
All right. Thank you very much. We still have more questions and we'll get back to you. But let's come to Comrade Emmanuel. In your opinion, how would you describe the term contract disclosure to a layman so that they can understand what we're talking about here today?
Okay. Contract disclosure is aspect of or the practice of making public information or making publicly information available to the public to be able to understand the terms and conditions of a contract, payment schedules. In this context, we are talking about why it has to be public, because we are talking in the context of the extractive sector in the country. So there's a need for citizens to understand the information around the contract. That is what is called contract disclosure.
All right. Thank you very much for being elaborate there, comrade. Now we'll go back to Barrister Kingsley. What are the benefits of contract disclosure in the extractive sector that Comrade Emmanuel just made mention of right now?
The benefit of contract disclosure in the extractive industry is that once the people who are engaged or the parties, there will be offer and acceptance, just normal contract.
Okay.
And the consideration that is involved. We have three things involved in this matter. And once that is done, you'll be able to, once you are pushing the offer and it is accepted, whatever the modalities that is being used in order to achieve that will be made known to each party. And it will be published. Each party will be on its side, monitoring it and engaging in it. Once you get to the limit, say, no, this is how it has to be. Once the other party is or have offended, and normally it's an agreement between the two parties.
Yeah.
But these three things has to be involved: offer, acceptance, and consideration. And they need not to be adequate for it to be, but it has to be published. You don't need to make it secret. You need to expose it so that each party will know the extent of the operation and what is involved.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. That's very elaborate. Thank you very much. Comrade, we'll come back to you right now. In your own terms, how would you define the benefits attached to contract disclosure in the extractive sector?
Yeah, there are huge benefits.
Okay.
When we are talking about contract disclosure attached to public sector, in an opaque society like ours, making such information around contracts, around of course what goes on with respect to contracts to the public will help to build the trust between the citizens and the government.
Okay.
And, including even the companies that are also the contractors in this aspect. So one of the things it helps to build is the public trust, the trust on the government, on the people, and of course the companies. And also the issue of fostering transparency and accountability in the public sector in the way of contract disclosure is very important. In building that, of course, trust, in ensuring that citizens participate in the affairs of the government, because why citizens get to know about the contract that are associated, public contract, they also help them to be informed, and they seek means or ways to be able to participate in the affairs of the government.
Okay. All right. Thank you very, very much for that explanation. We'll go back to Barrister Kingsley right now. How would you say the 80 standard has been implemented in Nigeria?
Actually, the 80 standard, trying to make it the other way in Nigeria. Nothing have worked very well in Nigeria. As you are doing your own, some other precedence is there. Otherwise, 80 standard of 2023 has placed a standard way of this kind of situation in extractive industry.
Okay.
The rules, how the standard upon which it has to be followed in order to engage in that. But most time it is not followed. Most time they don't adhere to that rules. In fact, I will just tell you that most of the standard has not been followed by either government or some other interested people. That is it.
Okay, but for such, we talked about when we talked about contract disclosure, we discussed that it's important that it's made open so that when one party deters from what was initially agreed upon, right, we can pinpoint. Now, when you observe such, such, how do I put it now? Such discrepancies, right? What authority is put in place to checkmate, to make sure that, things go back in line?
Actually, the authority, the one basic things is that you can be able to do some... once the law is offended, this is an agreement. Okay. An agreement between the two parties. Yeah. And once, first of all, it can engage in arbitration. Okay. Arbitration, you use that as a kind of, so that but if arbitration doesn't work, then you can go to court to checkmate each other. But first of all, arbitration is very, very key. Okay. Once that is done, you'll be able to bring the other party to conform with the standard as provided.
All right. Thank you very much. Now we'll come over to you, Comrade Emmanuel, and I want you to answer the same question. How has the 80 standard been implemented in Nigeria so far?
Yes, there is already a standard called contract disclosure within the 80, the global level. So, in 2007, Nigeria enacted a law called NEITI Act 2007 that guides the activities. It's just like kind of localizing the standard, the global standard of 80, so to Nigeria, and that's when we established the NEITI, Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, and that's the authority that oversees to the compliance of 80 80 standards. Yeah. Now, good enough, there's a civil society component, because at the NEITI we have a civil society rep representing us at the NEITI, which also help to ensure that civil society participate in the process of NEITI. In fact, Native Act is one of the laws in Nigeria that actually mainstream the participation of civil society, because we are talking about transparency and accountability of the extractive sector. So, and these are ways civil society within this NATI has been able to push for the implementation of these standards, these 80 standards across, including the contract disclosure we are talking about. I know that Publish What You Pay, being a coalition of civil society organizations in Nigeria and of course around the world that works on issues around extractive industry advocacies, have been on top of the situation, trying to see how they can engage with stakeholders, not just the government, the companies, the host communities of where we have these mineral resources in their community, to ensure that there's transparency, there's contract disclosure that we're talking about today, and that is how this has been mainstream in the country.
Okay, wow, wonderful. Now, Barrister Kingsley, I have the next question for you, which is, what progress has been made in promoting transparency and accountability in the sector?
There is a lot of progress.
Okay.
There is also in promoting that transparency and accountability, like Publish What You Pay have been on the to make sure that standard is followed in extractive industry, more especially in Enugu State and that of Nigeria. Follow it up and do some exposure of where it is being done, because there is so many other illegal mining. Like last 2 years, you find out in Enugu State, some people were digging coal. You don't know where it is coming from. You don't know who authorized that. You'll be able to, and you see such things, sometimes it become harmful to the public. You ask the government won't give much. But this time around, there is close monitoring, trying to find out actually what is going on, and either expose it to the stakeholders, the civil society, or make government know what is going on there. That is the standard. You monitor the activities in the extractive industry and be able to disclose it and be able to expose it, make sure that the performance is to the minimal standard and transparency, both to the public and the immediate community that is involved. That if such is going to be done, it need to be followed in the standard way. Be able to form environmental impact assessments. What is required. The community will make their inputs. Look at how we want this thing to be done. If you go to the south, you see there's a lot of pollution coming from the extractive industry.
True.
People are not farming. If
Oil
the
spillage.
environmental impact assessment were conducted, you know the extent of control, notwithstanding the vandalization that is going on. These are what the transparency and accountability is all about. You be able, from the beginning, if you want to establish any industry, you conduct the environmental impact assessment and be able to know, have a report, engage the stakeholders, engage the government, engage the community. Therefore, you can be able to make it smooth. But in Nigeria, so many things, so many people are going on with so many issues. You don't even know who is in charge and who is controlling the affair.
Yeah.
So that is it.
All right. Thank you very much. Comrade, we'll come back to you. What progress has been made in promoting transparency so far, as well as accountability in this extractive sector?
Yes, I'm happy that Barrister Kingsley touched about the issue of illegal mining in Enugu State.
Yeah.
Not just that, the activities of this illegal mining in terms of environmental degradation in the host communities, of course, the blasting of coals without, of course, Enugu, Enugu is a coal area.
City, yeah.
Yes, blasting of coals. Some companies blast coals without government approvals and do regulations and non-remittance of taxes to the state government. I think these are the issues that spur the present government of Enugu State via the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change to issue some kind of sanctions to these companies that actually engage on these activities without. I know that, for instance, in our home community in the local government, this thing is happening. In a Simbo community in Udenu local government area, this thing is happening. In our Kuke community in Enugu South local government area, this thing is happening. In a Sude community in Udi local government area, these things are happening. And in our Hag community in Izagu local government area, these issues are happening. Whether you are talking about lack of mining consent from the government or lack of environmental, ethical, and professional measures to guarantee the safety of these host communities. These are different issues that are happening. Now, what is the role of civil society? We are talking about the importance of ensuring that there's transparency and accountability in the extractive sector. And that's why we stress the aspect of the contribution of the public coalitions like Publish What You Pay, and of course the civil society rep at the NAT in coordinating the activities of civil society to ensure that there's transparency and accountability in the extractive sector. So, and we've been doing this, we've been engaging with different stakeholders, like I made mention of before. So, and we know that it's not easy because there are a lot of challenges associated to pushing for this, because the Nigeria as we know it is an opaque society, irrespective of the fact that there's a Freedom of Information Act that has been passed. There are a lot of enabling laws that should have contributed in making sure that these things are checkmated and put in place. But we run a very opaque government, and it's so unfortunate. So that's why even the simple issues around the public officials having to disclose their assets, is a problem. So this is a very big work for civil society, but we'll keep on pushing. Little by little, we're making progress.
All right. In case you're just listening, or in case you're just tuning in, you're listening to the July edition of Disclose the Deal campaign on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. My name is Clinton, and I have two guests who have spoken well on the topic for today, which is contract disclosure. And in case you're wondering what their names are, I have Barrister Kingsley Anidiobu with me, and also Comrade Emmanuel Acha. And together we are dissecting contract disclosure. Now, I have another question for you just before we open the phone lines to hear from our listeners, also entertain some of their questions. Barrister Kingsley, what actions can citizens and CSOs take to demand contract disclosure?
Yes, this is very, very fundamental. The citizens and CSO, they have a key role to play in this kind of situation. Number one is to make consultations, networking, reporting such incidents once you find it in your community. Take bold step, whether it is government or public companies. Make a disclosure. You can reach out to CSOs, civil society that are actually engaged in this. Bring it to their notice that some sort of and so thing is going wrong. You can also go to court. The court is available for everybody. Once you see that something, these people are already bridging on my fundamental human rights. They are going into it. Then you go to court. Maybe when you go to court, or you can come to public and publish it. You can go to newspaper if you have that opportunity to do that. The civil society and the public, the communities, once you see that some people are doing some extractive industry in your community, and it seems to you that they are engaging in something that is illegal, you shout, consult people. If you can't shout yourself, go to people that can shout for you. Then they will expose it. If governments refuse to come and attend to you, there is other people that can attend to you.
Other people such as?
Other people like civil society.
Okay.
Civil society. These are the only people that can tell you the truth. Just like my colleague said, Nigeria is one kind, I don't know how to describe Nigeria. You don't know who is calling shots. This government is blaming the past. The past is saying the people who are causing problem is this one that is in place. They will tell you, so and so president have been this. You consult that person, is not giving you the actual situation. Nobody is on top of any situation. So that's just first of all, you be able to let know what is going on, and for people to know that this is and so thing, like the places is mentioned, all these things were going on. Like in Enugu State, we have a governor, we have a government that was managing this in the past. Everybody pretended as if nothing was going on. You can imagine as close as in Sude, extractive industry is going on there at our home, Oha, in Ezago local government. Who authorized it? You ask the government, they won't, everybody is showing not, we are not interested. Who authorized it? Upon which, we know we have a large deposit of coal in Enugu State. But anytime you go through Oyama mine, you see about 50 trailers going out from Enugu. Nobody is asking question. You will be able to know which government is going on in Enugu State or in Nigeria. The last year, 2003, 2022, is about 2 trailer load of coal going out from Oyama mine. The people who is in control. You go to government, we are not aware. Then who is aware?
A very, very big question. Now we'll come over to Comrade. I would like you to answer the same question. All right. What are the actions that you think the citizens in Enugu CSOs can take to demand a contract disclosure?
I think the whole thing boils down to active citizenship.
Okay.
Citizens should be able to, if you see a problem, try to report the problem to the appropriate organizations or government authority to handle those issues. One of the challenges that we are having as a society, as a community, is that this nonchalancy. People don't care about what's going on in their society, in their communities. So I don't care. It doesn't concern me as far as it's not something that contributes to putting food on my table. So it's a very big challenge. So how do we address it? By being active citizen, to be able to question issues. If you observe that something is going wrong, you should be able to communicate to
the relevant
authorities, or even the civil society organizations can help to, like he said, can help to address that. And another thing.
Sorry to interject there. Right, while you are mentioning relevant authorities, can traditional rulers also play a part in this?
Of course, the traditional rulers are also part of the civil society in the wider context of civil society or civil space. Okay. So now, another thing is the need for civil society to keep on pushing for this advocacy to ensure transparency and accountability in the country, because especially in the affairs of governance of the country. So we have a very big role to play. I know that, for instance, in the Native Act that I talked about, 2007, which was, of course, enacted in 2007, there's a need for, a lot has gone between that 2007 and 2024. A lot of things, a lot of changes have been made and all that. So, but there's a need for Nigerians to actually review that act and to be able to integrate or mainstream some of the changes that are required, or some of the desires and aspirations of Nigerians with respect to that act. So these are the things that civil society need to keep on pushing for, to ensure that the principles around transparency and accountability are being mainstreamed in our regulations, in our attitude, in our in every aspect of our lives and society.
Okay, I have a question for you, because while you were speaking, you said that there's another need for that 2007 Act to be revisited. There's a reason you made that call. Personally, what changes would you like to see being implemented if the Act was to be visited again? Yes.
Part of the changes, like
this is on a personal note this time. Yes, because you're knowledgeable in the area. So, on a personal note,
on a personal note, some of the changes that may be required with respect to this issue of we are talking about contract disclosures. Companies that engage in extractive sector, or they engage in extractive activities, they need, you make it a law to be able to ensure that their contracts are being disclosed. Every aspect of their contract, it's the right of the citizens to know even the company's the information around the companies or the contractors handling different projects in their community.
Yeah.
So these are the things that the law, if reviewed, can be included in the act.
Okay. All right. In case you're listening and you want to be a part of the program, the phone lines are open: 0809 8888 or 0902 0020 925. In case you have questions with regards to contract disclosure, we have two distinguished guests in the studio that will entertain your questions. Now, while we wait for the phone lines to start buzzing, let's talk about the protest, because it's something that seems to be on everyone's lip right now. We are all anticipating August 1st, because this is a protest that will be like any other, or won't be like any other, because it's going to be for 10 days, right? And we expect this protest to happen in different states, including our own state, Enugu State. So I want you, comrades, to speak on your thoughts, right? First of all, why we're calling for this protest, because, water don't pass Gary, as some people will say. So we're going to hear from you what you think about the protest. If you have advice for the youth, also for the security personnel who might be listening right now, because about 4,200 detectives have been deployed for this protest to ensure that things don't go southways. So we're going to get your general view, comrade, on about the protest, as well as Barrister Kingsley. You're going to tell us one or two things, maybe speak from the side of the law as well. So let's start with you, comrade, while we wait for the phone lines to start buzzing again.
Thank you, Clinton.
You're welcome.
Actually, the right to protest, citizens have the right to protest.
Okay.
Because that's the trying to express their frustration, how the laws or the government action is impacting on them and all that. So there's no doubt about the need for, or there's no
protest.
question around whether they have the right to protest or not.
Okay.
So I monitor a lot of conversations on social media,
okay.
And some people were said, I was just reading a post that said that the main organizers of this protest are the hardship, the hunger, the poverty that is going on in the country.
Main factors.
Because these are the organizers, these are the leaders of this protest. So,
okay.
And I agree with them. I tend to agree with that composition, because it's because of the fact that citizens are getting frustrated about the impact of this hunger, this poverty on them. The high cost of
living,
things, the inflation has gone haywire and all that. So, and it appears that this has overwhelmed the government. So, the protest the essence of the protest is to keep on. For me, I think it also shows that Nigerians still believe in their government. Because if everybody should just go and sit down, things are going well. It even means that the legitimacy of the government is even in doubt. But it's in a situation whereby something is happening in the society. We talked about active citizenship before. So it's a way of expressing that active citizenship. So citizens have the right to come out and they protest their frustration. It also adds to because they are crying to the government to be able to intervene. So for me, I don't see anything bad about it. I know that a lot of security deployments here and there to be able to, of course,
ensure it's safe.
In the name of ensuring the safety
of lives and property.
But we just wish that it ends there in terms of ensuring the rights and the property of citizens. So not going haywire in terms of
letting hoodlums hijack it
and all that. So, but for this protest, citizens have right to protest. Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Barrister Kingsley. Let's hear your side of the story. I want to hear more of the law. What does the law have to say? Is it, we can speak as citizens. We know it's our rights, because we're practicing a democratic system. But let's hear it as it is, from the law. What do you have to say about the forthcoming protest? Is it something that might go contrary to what we've seen, the standard so far in Nigeria? Is it a welcome development as well? Let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, the protest that is being talked about.
Okay.
Our constitution, 1999 constitution as amended,
okay,
provided for basic rights, fundamental human rights. Part of it is right to protest.
Okay.
But the only thing that is so fundamental is that it has to be done within the realm of the law.
Okay.
You have to protest, but you don't have to
damage things
or destroy things.
Okay.
Because the people who are organizing this should be able to make sure that it's not being hijacked. You know, you'll find out what transpired in the last
NSAS. Yeah.
Nobody enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Some people lost their lives. So many properties were destroyed. We saw it in Enugu here. We wouldn't like that kind of situation to repeat itself. And government should also give platform to the people who are protesting. Look at listening, and this will afford the government opportunity to listen to. It will be a mirror. The government will look at the demands and see if they are doing well. If they are not doing well, you'll be able to pick 1 or 2 points. Okay, we are correcting this. You cannot say you're a leader except if you listen to the people you are leading. The people have said, okay, this is getting too much. Look at, and they have listed the problems. Everybody in Nigeria is seeing it. Is it hunger? Is it inflation? You go in the morning to buy something in the market, one price. In the afternoon, it will change. In the evening, it will change. What kind of inflation? This is the height of it throughout the time in
history of Nigeria.
Then you go to other places. Actually, some people are using tax to get to make sure that government is working. Those people you are taxing, make sure you provide. Oh, the governance is all about social contracts. The people will surrender their rights to you, and you provide their basic needs. One of it is good enabling environment for them to work well. Those who are working, for them to earn their living. Are you talking about government work? Who graduates are pumping out from NYSC almost in thousands every year? How many is being employed? And you don't want them to engage in 419. You don't want them to engage in illegality. But you have not provided enough platform for them to operate. Not even security. You go around in the city, you find out what they are now doing in the city. Kidnapping is being done inside the city of Enugu. They will wish somebody from Enugu and it's no longer on the road. They use so many things. And what is the duty of the government? To provide security. You track those who are doing that. You go to police who have nothing to do. You go to this side who have nothing. Then who is to do that? Provide security inside Enugu city. So many legalities is going on. But we thank God the government of Enugu State that is going on now is providing the enabling environment. We are now seeing good roads. I'm not trying to promote anybody. But we are trying to judge from what we have seen in the past.
True. I understand.
We are judging from what we have seen in the past. Those things are something that... So what we are saying is that protesting is basic rights. It has to be done within the constitutional provision, within the law, to make sure that this thing is done. But everybody, including the government, all the people we are calling government, all of us are government. Everybody is experiencing the situation. The only thing is that it has gone out of the hand. They can't control it. They are blaming the past regime. The past regime is saying we are nonsense. All these things didn't happen during our time.
Honestly, yeah. You can say that again. Because once some people were complaining that, their 3 square meal has been cut down to 1. Nowadays, some people are even saying they can't even find any at all.
What are you talking about? 3 square meal? Are we talking about 3 square meal? You are talking about anything at all.
Anything at all.
You go
God, I beg.
Anything at all. Even water. Go and look about water. The basic things should be provided. Water. Let's see if you are hungry. I'm not saying water is food, but the water can go a long way.
True.
You go to the road, you find a water by the side without even using money to buy it. You drink it. You can move on for some hours. You can't find it. We're hoping that government will do that. Good road, enabling security environment. The society that is secured. You have trust. Now we are now moving freely on Mondays. In the past, you sit at home. We don't know. You don't talk about food. The market is shut down. Whatever you have, you manage it. Some people will come from so many where and tell us a compulsory holiday. You can't enjoy it, whether you enjoy it or not.
True, you have to sit at home and suspend your business.
And suspend your business. So, but you see all those things, it's affecting everybody.
True.
We need government have to play its role, normal role, not politics. The time of politics have gone, but we need the reality on ground. Provide it so that people will see. It's because they don't see it. That is why the people now wanted to know. It seems you are blind. You are not seeing all these things. Look at it. We are hungry. There's no money. Worker needs to be paid on time.
Okay, so I have another question real quick before we round off. Don't forget, we're still waiting for your calls to come through. But as regards this protest, now, let me say 90% of people's worries right now is it being hijacked. But let's not forget the main reason why we're calling for this protest. Let's assume that everything goes according to plan, right? For the 10 days, do you think the protest has what it takes to, achieve its goal and objectives, which is calling for things to be restored back in order in the society? Do you think this protest can achieve that?
If truly that we are practicing democracy, and the government is very sincere to understand the fact that this is a democratic governance that we are in, there shouldn't be this protest should provide an avenue, like my barrister said, for dialogue, for government to listen to citizens, to be able to understand what are their plights and what are their frustrations. So to be able to also use this to address those issues. So not really. So for me, within these 10 days, any listening government can sieve out some of these issues and be able to address them adequately. So, of course, it will achieve to achieve that. Yes.
All right. What about you, Barrister? Do you believe it will achieve its objectives?
So I believe, actually, just like you said, if democracy is government of the people, by the people.
And for the people.
Government. Every one of us is government. But there are people who are doing some key decisions. Those things, those protests that is going on, and the issues is issue of governance, mostly. Issue of governance. If you are saying these people, this is what we want, look into it and see if actually that thing, whether you can be able to provide it, or you give information. Most of it that requires constitutional amendment, you have to be able to reach out to the National Assembly, motivate them to amend it to reflect the demands of the protesters. Is it not government that will do that? So you can achieve that. Government may pretend that the government may be ignorant of all these things, but now it is being done in black and white. Look at the issues. You didn't do well on this one. Go to go. How many people are traveling? Go to the airports because of criminals, bandits. Bandit is the common language. In fact, it's now constitutional. It's not constitutional because a bandit, some people will be calling for payment or compensate openly, and we'll have a government. People can't travel. You go to the airport, it's filled up. They filled up because no person wants to be kidnapped on the road. It is the duty of the government to provide security. Must, constitutional provision. And what is the duty of police?
To provide safety.
Yes, maintain law and order. It's not pursuing Okada people or Keke people on the road. It is to make sure that the security of people, citizens. So this will provide government opportunity to see if, as a kind of a remark, you check whether, it will say a mirror, whether they passed. The government of the last regime and this thing, you give them opportunity to say whether we have done well last 8 years and now. And then you amend. Nothing more. It shouldn't be a fight.
Exactly.
It shouldn't.
All right. Thank you very, very much. In case you're wondering what you listen to, you listen to the July edition of Disclose the Deal campaign on radio, and you heard it on 92.5 Enugu Stream FM. And my name is Clinton, and we heard from the guest speakers in the house, Barrister Kingsley Anidiobu and Comrade Emmanuel Acha. Today we looked at contract disclosure. We looked at the benefits, and how it can make our lives better. We are already out of time, but gentlemen, thank you very much for doing this with me today. It was nice having you around.
Thank you so very much.
I look forward to enjoying another time with you on radio.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we'll go back into the music. Don't forget, the Midday Express continues here on 92.5 Enugu's Dream FM. Keep it locked.